London. We lo latang. Ke latile di pounds ke pusha di p ke le pepper di patch le verpa. Wanza.
Yeah.
Ke re ke latile tšhelete di pounds yon rekela di patch le pepper le verpa.
Yeah.
And you know that's just how my brain has been working ever since.
He was born 2 days just before my birthday, 26th of May. I was born 28th of May, so Gemini's rule. He's an international musician, globe-trotting all over the world. He's a South African rapper, born and raised ko Pitori. Libitso la nnete ke Sebeto. He used to be a footballer, before he pursued a career in music as a rapper. Released his debut studio album, Isgupu Says Excellent. Isgupu Says Excellent, my bra. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghetto Presidente Astrata Kacheko, but Foca.
Hola.
Foca. Hola.
Which birthday I gotta share? I get 28.
You gotta be kidding
For
me,
real,
Joe.
yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, 28th of May.
Wow.
Actually,
Oh,
when I was, I forgot how old I was. I got your CD as a birthday present. I remember when it rained on the wireless.
Yeah, on the wireless. Yeah. That is so dope, bro. I didn't know that we were born on the same day.
Definitely.
Okay, no, now I understand why I like you. I think there's some sort of energy, like from Koko, like or anything, but just for some reason, I gravitate towards you.
Thank you.
I love your energy. I love what you're about. I love what you represent. Wangkhafis, I love your music. I love style how. I love how you do things, and I just love the fact that Mutua Strata, you know.
Tanko.
Yeah.
Why learn? I don't live late. Strata is important.
Did you ever think that you'll be an international musician? Let's start there.
I always say, like, I always tell people, like, I always knew, because like you or practice mo spelling before you fit be very polish it homaga na mo spelling ka rolono. So for me the vision has always been there. It's the same way I've always spoken about the Grammy, the same way I've always, you know, filling up Madison Square Garden. I always feel like, you know, the power of manifestation for me, I've always manifested. And obviously you don't know how it would feel being in that position, but I always know that, okay, Santirira 1 2 3 ke vision, nothing is by mistake, by chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how did it start?
Music or?
Yeah, like your career, just music. What was
Rankuwa, you know, did my political science degree, but throughout all of that, nigga music. But how ngiti as motaratang school bufele or okay, di manwa rapper, nebang bully aga grade 8 in le when I rapper when I rap. You understand? Or I'd have to go Valentine's to go a little metricky, you know, a poem for his girl, and so I guess I'm my ding didn't and then I did my degree. Immediately when I finished my degree, went to do with Major League Narira as a therapeutic Pinazagas the EP. Did a lot of, like, I would call it job shadowing. Big shout out to Major League for allowing me, you know, into their space. I'd just watch, or, you know, Casper would walk in, Ricky would walk in. You basically see the whole game. And nanagili studio net, lino gezaleo, no, nagili one go studio, record everyone's vocals, you know, fix this beat, arrange this album. So I guess from there I was like, you know, let me start my own imprint, and that was 18 Era Music, you know, and that's now.
Also, you do your own works.
Yeah, most
you
of the time.
You produce as well. You beat make as well.
You know, if needs be, but you know, I'm more of the creative mind. Say, you know what I mean, and Sean music, I think there's a video online. In the comments, it leaked. It's of me recording Toweta and Pele Pele in the same day. So I had this new videographer. You know, big shout out to him actually, and he was in the studio and he took you know, a visual of the whole thing, and it stopped me from explaining, because what's Bible, horo nafatsuli one overlela so, you know, so yeah, it's there somewhere. Oh, gonna search Focalistic making Toweta and Pele Pele thing.
And that's just a few months ago, or did you guys make the What's a while ago?
Nah, that's a few months ago. Yeah,
because it just came out late last year, right?
Yeah.
And because you're on the remix.
Yeah. The remake.
The remake, yeah. So what's the difference, remake, remix?
So when I first found the Toweta beat, I was in America. So Sean Music had uploaded wait the snippet.
Yeah.
So no snana ko recorder mo yona, or I didn't enjoy teneke recorder mo pineng e because I wanted to be in the vibe. So my strong phone la re cho which didn't kenya ko drop as instrumental mar kenya ka verse ya how. So I was like drop as instrumental if banyaka verse ya ka batla bolela wa ntlhalanya.
Yeah.
Wait yeah, so it's instrumental but someone disturb. I post a picture, go look a poster so but to me you understand?
Yeah.
So that's how the remake came because it was like, it's kinda like a remake. The beat sounds different, we have Daliwonga as well on the song. It's a whole new song, so
And the relationship between Yona le Bastrata?
the relationship I think there
Because
was
it sounds very similar.
not really. I mean, we did the mola tourist group is sa quantum.
Yeah,
Like yo, aditwane. I mean, I think maybe the relation would be that it's from the same house. We all in the same house. Pitori Super League, Nalboshon Music, FTS. They also did Bastrata. And Rabla Gantewan, Rabla Mostrating. It's Contir.
Sound Up Itori comes from back in the day. I mean, when I go back, when I was gigging full time in the game, Libo Bojo Muja may so rest in peace.
Yeah.
The sound evolved to Mujava. Mujava would be touring the world. But Tobasamu believe that was even before social media, back in the day.
Sure.
With the sound that he was doing, and there's just always been this Bacardi or this Pitori sound. And I want you to tell me more about it, because Pitori always said it's this sound of its own. Nje.
I wanna say like Pitor ke batho music, but Rayenela pina ukhono utla difference because Rayenela like from production to the words to to more ko submitela mpina ke HIL for us it's that personal, and I think that's why. But the Bacardi sound it's the imprint of Pitori. Whole level like the quantum, out na lang ngoba ke quantum sound so
Yeah.
so
Shout out to season 19.
yeah. Shout out to
Mfano
season
mo
19.
monyano ba thapina
Ke
blind.
bone da ke bone mola shout out to quantum sounds ke ntho one ke strata ke Pitori ke ntho one re push e utlwa. So I think for me that's where I would see the inspiration coming from. Ke di quantum mo ho hafiwa if I itse go Pitori ho hafiwa o mongwe o tsa picture nya go charge for picture e no issue. I think that lifestyle alone is enough to inspire generation.
And what inspired you to get into the music business? Because I can only imagine maybe how they probably thought you'd become something else.
Yeah, definitely. My dad was a journalist, my mom accountant. What inspired me, I always say, you don't choose this journey. Music kind of chooses you, So, as I said, can I degree? I can take it on a varsity, I can UP tax. Shout out to what we tax. I get an attack. Second, get an music is good every time. No corner, get a library, get studio from studio, get a waipola cantare.
Yeah.
Get cantare, get away and I get a library half a covetane, picking all exam. So, music kind of it chased me throughout all these experiences I'm mentioning. All the time. It's just always been there. There's always been someone who's saying, I do couple of and I'm like, you understand? So I think it chases you. You don't chase music.
Yeah, and then I also want to know the interest in piano and rapping on piano as opposed to having pursued hip hop 100%.
I mean, I pursued hip hop, at the beginning, and I always say it's because of TV, because more TV if parabeana santso rap o tshwana le dimano moso. Mara daman ola ha o lela ke trap o bolela ka kwena tlhang, It's about where they come from and on their canvas, So I was always obsessed with finding what a South African canvas would sound like for my painting. I always say my words paint pictures. So Snow Deep at the time would send me like a lot of these underground piano beats and say, Ejo Marcho, kya utlwa?" And I wouldn't understand what you were saying, And I think one of the first songs that, rest in peace DJ Somebody, is when he had just found the low keys and then Raira Shuta Mogel at Major League Studios. I think that was one of those moments for me that I was like, okay, this makes sense. I think we had done Skaftin before. We had done a couple of other songs, but I think Shuta Mogelo was just the moment where I was like, okay, Kikrele sound because Kanakola Nikira was the first rapper to rap on Amapiano, with Shasha being the first Amapiano vocalist. All in all, imagine kana when nagarapang or hirala. I'm the first at the time who rapper. and still being number one hottest MC in that same year, you know. So for now, I guess it was just God's timing and God's grandeur putting everything in place at the same time.
Fans put each other, they put you under pressure.
Sure.
Especially hip hop fans, and they're very strict. Didn't you feel some sort of, diamonds I'm selling out, take up a
We didn't nakabela ka hip hop one. Azanga ka bale butata bo. Akabela ha kwa Atlanta ke Tapitu.
Thank you, boss. Yeah.
So niggas now tell your hip hop batlaring. I've never actually cared for, you know, the genre the way I care for Amapiano, because for Amapiano I know the producers, I know their families, I know their backgrounds, I know their stories, I know where they like to chill, you know. So for me it's a more of a close relationship, you know. Even when I travel and we telling people about what's happening back home, it's so personal, you know. Sometimes you feel like you can cry. We just did, you know, a sold out show in London, and we managed to bring the whole PTA Super League, you know, straight from 18 area. You know, that's been my dream, you know, to pay for, you know, a couple people to see the world with me, you know, because it's that personal. I don't think hip hop la kwatelana every day in the club, and yeah, no, it's different. Don't try for me.
Yeah. And I'm sure that you're enjoying it because you're having fun while doing it. Because the key is to have fun. People forget the fun part of it. You can chase success, but if you're not enjoying the journey, what is
success then? If I want to enjoy it, what is success? I think we need to, you know, redefine success. Success is you being happy. It's not everything else you acquire. I've seen many rich people that are still, you know, not happy with themselves. So I don't think for me that's been my definition of success.
And then your first overseas trip? Or maybe the first moment when you started saying, "Oh, man, King Dara sound there guy is literally penetrating overseas." So
next thing Instagram powerful.
Yeah.
I was on my Instagram. So Katomo one man filter like in Nigeria they like this other filter with 3 hearts.
Yeah.
So I'm like, man, filter South Africa gave one. So every time I get tag you, I get to, especially get to when I go wanna detect them out. And then I got tagged on the Lagos charts at the time, and my song was number 1.
Which song was that?
Nele Star.
Oh, Star, yeah.
So Nele Nagola ya lockdown. So I went the first trip, because I had to move in lockdown. So, you know, there's quarantine periods, there's 14 days. But you know, that's how, you know, I got immersed in the culture and started learning that, come on, I used to ask questions like, you know, if I cross a border, you understand? Because like you grow up, TV, you've never actually been in close contact with it. So COVID-19, I think for me it's a blessing and a curse, but you know, I learned a lot through that period, like traveling through that period. We stayed in Tanzania for about 30 days, in Lagos for 2 months, you know. All that time is the Focalistic meeting. No, it's from, you know, studio sessions there, speaking to people there. And you know, I always said, without knowing, I always wanted to be a global citizen. As much as Negata, Pituri, whatever, I always wanted to know what's happening around the world and kind of become, you know, play in that space, the global space, and contribute to that space, you know, because I always feel like in one capsule, and this thing we're supposed to be spreading it to the whole world, you know.
I think those days I was following you. At some point, I think you also spent some time in Kenya, né?
Yeah, Kenya as well. Kenya was also a crazy vibe. I learned a bit of Swahili, you know. So, yeah, for me, that's what I'm saying. COVID-19 made me, because we couldn't perform, you know, and we were like one of the last people to open as a country. Mask,
yeah.
But like born.
You let Tanzania
Yeah. You know, so for me it was a blessing that I could, you know, immerse myself in those different cultures and learn how to make music. How perform, because as much as people never speak about it, it's all different. Like, you know, there's those certain nuances. You can't perform the same way go Tanzania as you perform So learning all of that, for me, it was that time.
And I want to give a big shout out to my East African crew, everybody in Kenya, everybody in Tanzania. Mungu akubariki. But is it God is with you. May God bless you. You know, I learned so much about the Swahili culture. And what are some of the things that you'd say in terms of the culture you've learned from by being in East Africa and obviously in Niger?
I was about to say, that it's different everywhere. If I start with Niger or West Africa, it's the hustle.
Nigerians are hustlers,
The
bro.
hustle is impeccable.
If there's one place that inspires me to be even a better hustler, it's Nigeria. Like
Nah,
Nigerian brothers and sisters, y'all are hustlers.
Nana, or talk about an airport, the person is selling you money.
Yeah.
It's like, what? You're selling me currency, like, and in cash.
Yeah.
And the traffic, everyone has somewhere to be. So you kind of end up having to choose. Like, you can't do 4 things. In Lagos, you can't do 4 things in one day.
Yeah.
Because get traffic. So
Yeah.
I choose, okay, which one is the most important? Okay, we're going to do these 2. Maybe because they're in the same street, get back in the traffic for about 3 hours. So for me, Lagos or West Africa, all in all, taught me, just hustle. I think with East Africa, I'd say just humility, just walking with Diamond Platinums through where he was born, and seeing how people, accept him as one of their own. As much as a star, but he's one of their own, it's a different reverence. It's motokwarina. I think that's what it taught me, that no matter, what heights you go to, salabala high, and then I'm this is our fabric. Yeah, so I think, when you travel, you learn a lot of different things from a lot of different places. Even now, I'm just paraphrasing.
Spending time in Niger obviously then brought us the big collaboration that you did with Davido. How did that happen?
Internet as well, but we had met actually Komoloko, I think about 2 years before, when I had done Sentin with Kabza and Maporisa. So there was a DJ playing that, and then Nabeta and then David was scheduled to perform, but before he performed, he's like, yo, this sound, who's this kid? And then luckily I was in the club, went to the section, took numbers, swapped. He's like, yo, one day it was pana, So obviously 2 years, your brain is like, you're not really there, And when the song hit #1 in Nigeria, I got a text from his manager that, yo, there's this show David is hosting. Can you go perform? Wait, king, not gonna flow, okay, I perform. Maregile that, man, Timan or remix. And then we were supposed to go to the house. When we get to the house, I'm like, yo, remix. It's like, yo, I thought you would never ask. Like, and then, yeah, from there, we've just been brothers, like, I've spoken enough about David. He's done a lot for me and opened my mind to different things that I never, could have never imagined. We performed at the O2 Arena for the first time. A South African artist is performing at the O2 Arena, and that was me through our collaboration. From that point on, Azangara stop.
Yeah, and what did it do to you? Because I know once you start experiencing O2 Arena, you start experiencing Madison Square Garden, your mind even starts stretching. No, man, it's possible.
It's very possible. I think for me, I've just started to think like that, and ka sound arena. For me, I started saying, we always hear the thing, black child, it's possible. Yeah. But until you're there, it feels like, yeah, it's possible, but maybe not for me. But for now, I'm saying it like for real, black child, it's really possible. Like we can take our sound and, take over the whole world. It's as powerful as hip hop, if not even more. Like a gold mine.
I totally agree, bro. And a lot of people sometimes they might just get that one big opportunity to run and take their career to another trajectory. But some artists sort of chill, or they take it easy, or you got that feature, and obviously Davido, being a bigger artist at the time and on a global platform, what did that do to your career? And did that fuel your hustle in some sort of way?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's no ways. It's like knives sharpen knives. Even us sitting right here, I'm motivated. It's like, yo, you came here on time and everything is set up. For me, that's how I've always thought. Like everything is an art form. Just being around him, seeing how he does things and how music is so serious for him. For me, it obviously has sharpened me. You start seeing me doing my own headline shows from that, like in London. Who would have thought? Or Mara, Maradona, 5,000 but it's from just being in those spaces where even he'll tell you, like, I think a lot of the time when you surround yourself with people who are obviously, at a higher place, they see your problems as small, so he'll say something like, nah, fuck man, fill up London now. You can do it now. So it becomes easier. Like, yo, yeah, maybe Dimano Balalane, Tarizame.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for me, as I said, knives sharpen knives. You know, being around the Grotman for knives saved me from a lot. You become more focused because busy ka project, busy ka and about what busy ka project house. So it's made me who I am. I
La
guess.
Pushana,
La
ne?
Pushana, no.
Yeah. As soon as you start seeing what's possible out there, outside of South Africa, it changes your mind as a creative. How different are you from the person whom you were 7 years ago? The time, I wouldn't say, Lele Bene Plus, but before you started traveling, before you even started having your passport or a visa to anywhere.
I'm different because no can have visa. Kemo passport I got 3.
Yo.
One already.
Already,
Yeah. I try demand for sure. It's like the bonjour.
Yeah.
But just in general, you start seeing that a lot of the things that we see on TV are actually there. There's a lot of opportunities outside in the world, even for if you're an accountant or you're dealing with technology, the language IT.
Yeah.
There's other opportunities. You see McDonald's 24 hours, 7 days a week. So that kind of motivates you even hospana because why eat. I feel like for me, another thing that I would say is like otomotoafa when a situation by for example, McDonald's it's all like 8.
Yeah.
So when after 8 le fatile lotlele a le tshwareke you understand? Oh,
Yeah.
look, go fitile go Dubai. Wa bereki wa ka 8 until 12 like 1 a.m. But for most trading, so it kind of just opens your brain to being a hustler. Why is hustler guira?
And them dollars hit different.
Yeah.
Once they start hitting your bank account, times like 18 or me bra, yo.
Yeah, the currency conversion. Yeah.
I always encourage my cheetah and the sisters out there, guys, find a way to make money in dollars. And you don't even have to leave South Africa. Some of you guys who are YouTubers, because you get paid by Google Ireland every month and you get paid in dollars. And some of you guys who are doing drop shipping, some of you guys who are trading online, you guys, your language becomes dollars. And isn't it that you need to start training yourself that way, Fokahore? Leho obolela. And you need to also start training your mind to start looking at manigadi dollar so that you stretch your mind. Because when you start looking at, when you're still keeping working, when you're still stuck to rands, what the kawata, because even when you work and also or SMS it's an times 18. Yeah.
I think as you're saying, it's about being a global citizen.
Yeah.
That's why I say, no matter how old it's a guy, I think that the whole aim is to become a global citizen, to be able to play in that space. Yeah, or no na lama para get the dollar, get the pounds, so antara. Lemo pineng ya ka London, ke bolela ka ntho. But first time ke ya London, ne ba mputsa re wilo la tang, and I found that it's like, it was just a funny thing, and I was like, one day go be mo pineng. So na le pineng ke ile London. Wilo la tang ke latile di pounds ke pusha di p ke le pepper di patch le verpa antara
Yeah.
ke re ke latile tšhelete di pounds yo nrekela di patch le pepper le verpa.
Yeah.
And that's just how my brain has been working ever since.
And what changes when an artist grows? There's a lot of musicians out there who want to know, okay, as soon as I start branching out to the global space, do I beef up my team? What are some of the things that artists need to know?
Yeah, definitely. Team your house and whole. Think of yourself as Coca-Cola, more fire, one twara, or product, one twara, something to move. So I never a manager how Lily two fella. So who's gonna do the PR in London? Who's gonna, make sure the music is submitted when you in South Africa and you're dropping a single? Who's gonna make sure? So you kind of have to find regional teams, regional brand managers. Just the same hierarchy, I guess, that you would need for any product.
Yeah.
I think we need to start seeing music as a product that we're moving, and then you'll see the way you move hola as well, outsana you touch down and it's 2 months of nothingness. No, that time is so important that things have to happen. This interview has to be done, and we're moving on. It's the next flight. We're moving on. Why too that little, And I think as time goes, you also will realize the need for a bigger team, because who's organizing that PR, run when you are landing, when also who's doing that, you know? So you start seeing, oh, something, but especially if you're independent, I guess I'm speaking for all the independent artists as well. Cause
you independent?
Yeah, no.
You still independent?
100% independent.
You gotta be kidding me, bro. With all the moves you're making.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think it's growing the team, and that's what I'm explaining right now. It's just being able to grow your team and delegate, you know. The first time I went to, I don't want to mention the majors, you know, but the first time I went to both the offices, I felt like, you know, I can do it. I can do what you guys are telling me that you do. And that's why I stayed independent, did my partnership, joint venture with Africori, and ever since we've been good. I'm still impressed with my contract.
Want to give a big shout out to my sister Taponiswa in London, showing a lot of our artists love every time they touch down London area there. So we just want to big you up, Taponiswa. Anybody, if you know Taponiswa, hit her up there on her social media. Cut this clip and go show it to her and just tell her that she's getting some big shout outs here because of the incredible work that she's been doing. She understands the culture. She's lived in Mzansi for a couple of years. She has worked here. You know, she's in touch with a lot of artists, and it's always nice that she shows us a lot of love when we do show up in the UK. Yeah. And then now with you and your team, I know a lot of musicians would have a local team or booking agents, and then they've got a separate team that handles their international affairs. Is that the same case with you?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's the same because you still need the same feeling internationally. So, you know, I have a team that's in 18 area, and that team overlooks everyone around the world. So if you're doing a booking in Miami, for example, we're going to Miami, Kame on my birthday.
Nice.
And if we're doing that show,
as well, sure. I didn't know that we were twins. Actually, we'll probably be partying in the same night. Same place, sure.
So, you know, we run it through the team, and there's certain, you know, contractual agreements that would need to, you know, be reached. And it's still 18 area, but, you know, we have outsourced certain booking agents. I don't think I have an 18 area that is outside of 18 area, because for me to appoint, this is head of bookings. That means every single booking needs to go through this human being.
Go first time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a lot happening, especially from now in March all the way to around May.
It's a lot.
There's the Miami Music Conference, there's Coachella.
It's a lot.
There's both South African Chisanyama. Shout outs to my sister, Shijay Zandi, who's based in the US. She does this
Washington, eh?
Yeah. She does big shows there.
Yeah.
He's always holding us down.
We did in Washington, we did a picnic. It was so amazing. I think she got like 4,000 South Africans, like, who were all in Washington at the time, and it was amazing.
She's really big. She's been holding down the community for quite some time. Yeah. She's been bringing a lot of us there. And then there's the likes of Coachella, and then you get the Miami Music Fest as well.
Afro Nation.
There's Afro Nation. There's also, what is this? SWSX?
South by Southwest.
South by Southwest,
so it's,
right?
It's written SXSW, but it's South by Southwest.
Oh, okay, now I get you. And that's what I wanted to know. What are some of the shows that you'll be doing around that time?
I'll be doing, Afro Nation. I think I'd need to, but, you know, I'm posting all the time, you know, but I think most of the shows that we're doing are already out now, you know, posted. But my biggest, you know, excitement right now is what we're doing with Afro Nation, and how, you know, we've managed to inject Amapiano, especially with the after parties. So we did these crazy after parties last year with Afro Nation in Portugal, and you find Wizkid there, relaxed, having fun. You know, you find Davido as well, relaxed, having fun, listening to a Jaro set, you know, listening to a Devin Gogo set in a private space, and they can dance and enjoy it. And I think, you know, a lot of those after parties for me have injected their music in a more personal way, you know, with people, because it's different when I'm at a festival and I see you on stage and you're dancing. I don't really have that much of a connection. I'm trying to enjoy the performance, but when I'm on space, private space, relaxed, and I think that's my super excitement. So, you know, we're doing Afro Nation May in Miami, and we're doing it in June as well in Portugal. So I'm super excited about that. Big shout out to Piano People as well. You know, we've had a long-standing relationship. They helped me fill up my show as well in London now. This is like 2 weeks ago. So, you know, super exciting.
That is so dope, man. For me, I always I only say to people, there's bambudzisa about what's your secret or what's the secret. For me, there's no secret. Like, it happens differently for different people. Although all of our journeys are similar, we've all had to non-stop show up over and over and over and over and put in the work.
100%.
What would you say when I would have might have been your formula to making it and just sharing it with the kids out there who are going through their own hustle, Amapiano?
I think my formula is I've never been too cool to hustle. Like I always used to post that, never be too cool to hustle. Show up, be there. That thought studio go. Like it's that important, that could be the hit that changes your life, So for me, I've never been too cool to hustle. I always say that.
And when you show up, another thing opens.
Many other things.
You show up, another one opens.
It's kind of like a whirlwind of showing up and opening up things.
Yeah.
It's like that. You show up for this opens that, this opens. And I think I'm still in that process. I think for me, I've never had like a location of success. Like to say, okay, and then, for me, it's like, it's every day. Every day is like I have to show up. I have to be there for this shoot. I have to be there for, even this for me is that important. It's like everything is important. You never get to a point. I don't think anyone gets to the point where it's like, it's enough.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, Little No is still pushing. And thank you for doing this one. I appreciate you for that.
Easy.
Yeah,
it's too much.
I
actually want to just give you a shout out as well. People come here and never, shout out for the platform. I saw the one with Reese. I saw the one with Kanye as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually a dope platform, like for people to explain the hustle. I think there's an art in hustling and people are unpacking it on this show. So
yeah,
big shout
I
out.
appreciate it. Some of the kids that are also helping us out. There's a young kid I met yesterday. His name is T-Man. And maybe he'll tell his story himself. So maybe tell us. So you're here yesterday, you're asking, hey, can I please shoot? All of a sudden, 2 days later, so no Focalistic, no smooth. Tell us a bit about your hustle. Who are you, where you from, and maybe I'll give you a chance to ask him a question.
Kamalam Ngutabang. Those who know me, I have a platform named Untitled Network. I push spanning Shama photo.
Untitled Network.
Yes, sir.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes,
I always
sir.
see you as a shout out for the content.
Yeah, bro. So I'm always pushing my hustle, So I only came here yesterday. Rotman, we got shy span. All of a sudden, boom, now we up. Also, big shout out to M Studios. If it wasn't for this place, I don't think I'd be having such an opportunity. So shout out.
And then maybe here's an opportunity to ask Focus something.
Yo, Rotman, this thing is very tough. How do you keep going, bro?
How do I keep going?
Yeah.
Passion. I think I have a undying passion for it. I love it. Seeing new people, seeing this story. Like for me, Untitled Network, I'd probably reply to your DMs. I just never knew I would meet. Like I have a passion for it. I'm an internet kid before anything. I knew everyone's teams before, meeting them. I'd know, I know manager Mang. So I think the passion for me and the happiness I get from we had this idea and then I see it, maybe more TV, where I want about 5,000. I think for me that passion is what keeps me going.
Shout out.
Proud of you, bro. Continue creating the content. Where are you taking your hustle?
Yo, to the top.
To the top.
Yes, sir.
I'll grab one more. Let me grab one more. I think I'll grab you, Zogala boy. Zogala. Come ask Focus something. Let's give you guys the shine. Because sometimes you might take something so little for granted. And something so little, it could be something big for him.
I would have never known that it's him.
You know what I mean, bro? How you doing?
Listen.
Nice one. Introduce yourself to the people, and then maybe you can rock him with a question as well.
What's up, everyone? My name is Supantando. I'm from Better Films. Yes, sir.
Yeah. No, don't be scared. Calm down.
I'm not scared.
What do you guys do at Better Films? What are your social media platforms? And what are you guys trying to achieve? Tell us more about your hustle.
Okay, so we're all about, we shoot music videos, we do film productions.
Yeah.
I'm in awe of this platform. I wasn't expecting it, sir, so I don't know what to say. So
we're putting you on.
Be careful.
Be careful what you ask for. When God says yes, my man, he'll surprise you. Yeah,
I'm
where
really
do we check you out?
Better Films.
Okay.
Better Films.
That is on all social media
All
platforms.
social media.
How do you
platforms.
spell it?
It's Better Films.
Better as in BETTER.
BETTERFILMZ.
Nice one.
One
Question
times.
for Foka.
Don't be scared.
Okay, so what I can ask, with the platform that you have now, with the kind of following that you have, would you say where you are now?
No, it's fine. Okay, we saka soto or ngabisa nangesizulu.
Ngathini?
Lapha khona manje wensani?
Ngithi la ukhona manje ne ngathini? Yo sir.
What nervous?
Nginervous kakhulu sir. Like you really
no,
confident. So I think I'll have.
No, but I'm very proud of you, ne?
Thank you so
You
much.
must keep pushing, keep showing up exactly what you were saying. There's no formula to this thing. That's why we do these types of stories, so you guys can be inspired. You can see yourselves in them.
Yes, sir.
So you must know, good, now you're just one step away from there, you know?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. When ufuna ukuba yini?
Okay, I love editing, sir.
Oh,
so
nice.
I tell my stories through my visuals. So when you check our work, Better Films, I'm the guy who's behind.
Nice
it.
one. Better films, guys.
One
Nice
time.
one. Congrats, boy.
Thank you so much.
Proud of you, man. How does it feel, man, when all these kids come to you and they just tell you inspire them, and you're like, "How? I was just a kid as well. Just now, people are."
I
telling me
am.
the
I'm still a
inspiration."
kid, you know. I think for me, better, you know, you tell me, because I think your dreams are safe with me because I'm still that kid. So I get happy that at least maybe maybe like if it, but at the same time, they still need to hear what I still need to hear. I remember there's a time. So big shout out to Toady Mac as well.
Yeah.
He mixed and mastered my first song ever that dropped on like DSPs.
Are you serious?
Yeah, called Kshubil, Hotman Toady Mac. And like we met for like 5 minutes maybe after he had mixed, because Negelaka mix. So he came out the office and he said, you know, I like your passion because you're always one hit away from. He said, no, he said you're one song away from your next big hit. And that's what every time I go to the studio, I always remember that. Like I think I have it written down on the wall as well. You're one song away from your next big hit.
You're always one song away, man.
Yeah, so for me, it's like at least they can hear that word from someone who looks like them. Like I'm still with you. I'm still, you know, and I still have that passion for the culture. You know, I'll still pull up for anyone if there's a show that you need me to come to do for you to activate something. We're there, and I think the game becomes better like that. I think the game was starting to dip if you see when people start separating themselves. Like now, we're not going there. Nah, like I think for me, it's like let's pull up. Let's always be there for each other. I think that's one thing that I always thank Ricky as well for teaching me. Like let's be there for each other because that's how you grow this culture. And if you love
Strength
this
in
thing-
numbers, right?
Yeah, 100%. That's why when Pitori Super League, you know, always a big shout out to Chico as well. He just filled up propaganda. You know, we were all there. It was a crazy moment. You know, I think there's the collaboration over competition. Yeah.
Collaboration over competition. I like
Let's put
that.
it like that.
I like that. Now, we started, I think it was 2020. Scoops Excellent, it was 2020, ne?
Yeah, Scoops is excellent 2020.
Scoops is Excellent 2020, 2021, the Presidente Astrata, whenever no Ghetto Gospel a few months ago, last year.
Yeah. I think for me the story starts in 2019 though. I'd say as a therapeutic with Major League as well. We dropped a joint EP and that was us kind of figuring out the sound and, you know, seeing which direction that we're gonna take it. As Waitili Major League, we wanna from era ya rata 95 wantwara slow jazz.
I used to mix on my radio show, called Metro Da.
Wantwara,
Why you tell it? Proud of you, gents. Very
you
proud
know,
of you.
so for me, I'd say professionally releasing music starts around 2018 actually.
Yeah.
I'd say 2018.
Favorite album out of the EP and the 3 albums?
Ghetto Gospel.
Ghetto Gospel.
Ghetto Gospel, I say, is my first album, only purely because it's my first album released as an album, you know, because from the PR, from the rollout, you know, I think we did our thing. You know, we had like 7 billboards. We did one of the biggest listening sessions in Africa, I was told by Audio Mac, because we had like 5,000 people there. You know, it was crazy. Did a live band rendition of the whole album. So the show in London was a launch of Ghetto Gospel as well. It was the international leg of the listening session, and you know, having 5,000 people in London as well is God's blessing, and I think that's what this album for me meant. It was the right timing. I felt it from Modimo le Badimo hore it's king Ghetto Gospel kyo.
Ghetto
So,
Gospel, what type of an album is it? What type of a journey it takes me through when I listen to it?
I'd describe it as eclectic. You know, it takes from everything that you know Focalistic as. From Focalistic Olawa hip hop or Makrea. First song, you know, big shout out to Grotman's Java. You find the intro, Kidipuo, and you know he found me in a very dark space at the time. You know, Twitter. There's always something to say on Twitter. You know, and I was making this song Ketawadipu, and he's like, you know, the way he relates to this, he wanted to hear the rest of the album, which is why you find him on the outro as well, called "Might Not Forgive You." And you know, when you're listening to the album, you hear a journey of what it feels like to be a young South African who kind of makes it in a certain way, but you never want to leave your hood, you know, and that's why it's called Ghetto Gospel, because I feel like from Pitori, it's in my natural DNA, and it's advice that I would have wanted to hear growing up in the hood. You know, it's the Ghetto Gospel. I wish I wish Nonale it's also good. So you know, I mean the lyrics as it's a living album, and that's why it's my favorite. As I keep living, it's like, you know, these lyrics were ahead of its time. If you listen to Telatenya, it's also good. So big shout out, it just went gold as well.
Hey, congrats, bro.
Yeah, shout out. When you listen to the song, it's like those lyrics, when I said them, I was just me and MJ, and we were speaking. 9mm. And as you see, you know, gun violence is becoming too rife in South Africa, you know, and it's like, how did we manage to touch on that subject at that time? You know, so I think for me, Ghetto Gospel will forever be my favorite because it's living. It feels like SKP, like a tooth or no man. You know.
You have to have listened to Tupac at some point.
Definitely.
I think he has had an album.
Definitely.
Was it a song or an album?
He
I
had
think
a song.
Tupac
He
had
had
a
a song
Ghetto,
called
Ghetto Gospel, right?
Yeah, but that was also a sample of another song. So, damn. I was doing my research the other day. Whoever they'll comment, he had also sampled another song for Ghetto Gospel, because I think it was made post his, you know, unfortunate death. So yeah.
Talking about Pac's death, how has Ricky, may so rest in peace, and Kieran and Tibbs as well, brothers, rest in peace, and thank you for your contributions into the culture. How has that impacted you?
Yo, rest in peace, Vusima R5. Rest in peace, DJ Somebody. Rafaela, you know, that's how I feel. Rafaela, you know, it feels like we're at a point where we need God. No human being can solve it. You know, I was on live the other day and I kept saying Riwa, and it was a joke, but you know, that's how I feel right now. It feels like, you know, as every human being on this earth, we have to wake up and say, you know what, Riwan iso artaganing, artusaning, arrabeling. You know, that's just how I feel. But, you know, shout out to everyone we've lost and for their contribution. I don't think you would find a Focalistic without somebody. You know, I always say, somebody. And, you know, to this day, I'm forever grateful. Or I had that moment when I could call Hortman for, you know, about an hour. And at the time, I thought it was big problems, but yeah, Joe, you know, or you go to a Ricky, like, if he feels like, you know, you've been off social media, Ricky would be the first to pull up to the gate, like, yo, what's up with you? Get out, get away. You know, I'm busy working on a song, and he'd hop on. So, you know, these are souls that I feel like, you know, have created generations that are still to come, and we've lost them just like that, you know, and I feel like I think it's time for the world to come together and be more compassionate, be more, you know, humble to each other, because and
I think with the direction at which the world is taking, where we are, with how big social media is as well, you can only play your role up to so far, or you can only do so much. And when your role is the microphone in the studio, a lot of people, when they listen to the music, whether you're listening to hip-hop from the US or you're listening to music from the kids here at home, or whether it's even house music with the vocalists jumping on beats and you listen to the lyrical content, how do we make musicians to be, I don't want to say more responsible, because musicians have always been they've always been artists that sort of paint a time at which we are in life. And it's not all rosy, you know. We're not saying everybody must just go out there and write beautiful, positive lyrics. But I mean, how do we do more of that, of encouraging and inspiring people as opposed to just lyrics that don't have that much substance?
Oh, you're talking about substance. I
Yeah.
thought you were saying how do we make artists more responsible, you know, because for me, those are two different things, you know. Someone can tell you about the world the way it is and still have it. Well, to you, it can have no substance to you, but for them, that's their world, you know. And I think that's an artist's responsibility. I think an artist has to be a mirror of what's happening, you know. And obviously, here and there will be the lesson to say, you know what, I'm not saying to right, but this is what was happening at the time. Because I feel like I always say, even Viola Davis says, you know, an artist's responsibility is to document our times. So I always say, you know, we have to say it the way it is and not promote it. There's a very big difference between I'm saying it the way it is and I keep promoting it and you know. So I think that line is the one that we're gonna need to, you know, give artists to say, okay, promote that. That's gonna be the most important thing. In your spare time, what are you doing? Are you at the community services that are saying no to violence, or are you gonna make that song and not attend, you know, the community, because it affects the community at the end of the day. And that's why you have certain artists, they'll ban them from certain places, you know, because the community is saying no, and now I promote that thing. And I think that's what we need to be addressing now. Is as artists, promoting or the senior community, you know, and after Mola that same community is support.
How do you describe your music in one sentence?
My music, president Jastrata, you know, so it's always a public service announcement.
For those who don't come from South Africa, it means I'm the president. He's the president of the streets, and trust me, he is.
So everything is a Strata Nation address, you know. That's what they call it. I've seen people say, you must call your genre Strata Nation address, because it feels like, you know, a president speaking. It feels like what I've experienced. I always want to, you know, encapsulate it and then at the end say, hey, this is my feeling on it, and this is what must happen going forward. And, you know, Squad Samaradona, the listeners always follow. So it's a big shout out, you know. That's how I describe my music. From Black and Kalamanyor, at the time, for me, I felt like, you know, we're mourning as a country. And that's why Black, you know, we're taking the way people made black as if like, you know, being black, apartheid, it was like, it's a dirty thing. We took it and said, no, you know. So for me, my music is that. It's about flipping what I've been thinking about into melodies and making sure there's a long-lasting message. If you see, you know, there's a bottle. Where's that bottle?
Let's see.
Lwena
You
know, if you see, as well.
Sure. Tell me about this.
Yeah, but if you open it, thank you. So if you open it,
oh,
yeah,
the presentation. Let me see it. Oh, in this man,
one time.
called drink it about hole. The goal isn't to live forever. The goal is to create something that will.
Yeah.
So this was the presentation of your album.
Yeah.
You collaborated with Jägermeister.
Yeah.
And I can see your face over there.
Yes.
Tell us about this deal.
Jägermeister's been supporting the music, you know, been in the culture. I think it's now our third year. So big shout out to Jägermeister for pushing the music the way they have, you know. You can clearly see Ghetto gospel, this Fatla folk, dreams come true.
When I first heard this line, do you know that I heard it from Casper?
Is it?
Yeah, and then my daughter, and then we had an argument. And then later on, Jumpers, I had to buy the cold drink. I just had to apologize. Baby, you were right. So she's tuned in. She's a fan.
The kids are tuned in. Big shout out to the kids. I think that's another motivating factor, you know, is that ever since Strata since music wise, you know, no matter what I try push, even when I'm going on a left tangent that people at the time, I always say, "Ke tshwana le Kanye West mo ngwe mo." Maybe I get right, but maybe I'm just not right now.
Yeah.
So, you know, people have always had my back, even with Ghetto Gospel, you know, taking the music from a time where everything is so to you know, the era of music now, especially Focalistic, you're speaking about music. You know, it's music that's more spiritually aligned, and for me, you know, seeing my mom being able to sing all the lyrics and relate is a crazy feeling. So that's where I was going with the whole thing, and you know, the rollout has made sure that people understand it. So when you are asking how would I describe my music, for me it's that I want it to last even long way after I'm gone. You know, I want people to say he documented that time and he did it so well.
Congratulations on the Sjepa performance.
Thank
on
you.
the Recording Industry Academy, again, RIAA. Recording Industry Academy Awards,
Yeah,
right? Something like
yes,
that.
yes.
But basically the Grammys.
yeah.
Tell us about that performance.
Hey, it's been a crazy journey with the Grammys. You know, last year I was fortunate to go to the Grammys, you know, in New York, and the Academy, them explaining, you know, people always ask, like, how do you win a Grammy? You know, so what are the, you know, the what do you need to do? How does the music have to sound? And being there in that space and doing my first interview with them made me realize, yo, it's possible, this thing, you know. So that culminated in them in our relationship, and you know, they're doing this. They're going around the globe and choosing artists to look out for 2023, and you know, it came back and culminated in that performance of Sjepa. And as you can see, I was super prepared and super happy to do it. You know, from the first drop with the band, I was like, you know, I'm doing this one for Pitori. So yeah, it's been crazy. Please check it out. It's still there on YouTube on the official Grammy page. So, you know, Railata Grammy for tape it.
It's already here. I love the fact that you understand the concept of manifesting your dreams.
Yeah.
Maybe for those who don't understand, unpack that more.
Yo, words become things.
Thank you.
I think that's how I can explain it. You know, what you say, you become. So for me, I've always like been that type of person. Even the year where I was the #1 hottest MC, I posted it January. At the end of this year, I'm gonna be the hottest MC. And if you see those comments, everyone said, wait. And it was just funny for me because I'm such a strong believer in words. So once I say something, I'm definitely gonna do it. You know, I don't care. I'm like a horse. You know, when they do that thing to a horse, and focus. Yeah, just that carrot. So that's how I am, and I think that's how everyone should be, especially if you're a dreamer out there. That's how we're gonna achieve our dreams anyway. Yeah,
Rahasel. You can even see action changes things. Those type of words as you're talking.
Yeah.
Art, hustler's corner, and I want to show you some of those words, because those little bite-sized words and those sentences, that's what symbolize what we're about, what this platform is all about. Obviously, but I just want to show you. You've just said something now, and I want you to see it over there. Okay, igniting minds of the future, culture, the hustler's lifestyle. Obviously, hustler's corner. You'll see just now. Mzansi, that's South Africa for those who don't come from here. Igniting minds of the future, culture, music, art, entrepreneurship, action changes things,
yeah.
lifestyle, free thought, mahala, challenging minds, hot. And then you'll see this other one, creativity. Thoughts become things.
Yes.
Thoughts become things, my bra. Yeah.
Shut up.
You think about it, you speak about it, you put in the work, it happens. Who inspires you?
My mom. My mom is, I always say my mom is one of like my biggest inspirations, because, you know, coming from where she comes from and being able to be who she is today, I can only imagine the amount of like, you know, triumphs she had to, trials and tribulations she has to go through, you know, to win, to become who she is. So mama kana rekisa ditlhakwana wa ntlhalane, so
Na le
for her
mahala,
gore a be le ngwana o tshwana
Ko
le
Marabi?
nna. Yeah, wa ntla wa di itse ne?
Ke di itse pila fela. Angere ke ntse go Pitori for sebaka. Ke ntse go Mabopane, ke ntse go Lesosha, sure.
Yeah, so wa ntlhalosetsa ditori tsa hae, you know, for me it's one of my biggest motivations. I think I'd also add Uncle Hugh, you know, having been to America, Uncle Hugh Masikela, you know, seeing how he hustled his way to the top. You know, you don't go to a bar or a Soho house that does not play Hugh Masikela music. And
Yeah.
you start realizing the actual global impact, you know. So yeah, I'd have to put my mom, Uncle Hugh. Actually, I have a lot of inspirations. I would say you as well, how you pushed, you know, more fire. I remember one time I caught you at a robot. I couldn't believe it was you. I wanted to tell you like, yo, we share same birthday, and then you know it's too fast. Hey, more fire, you know, and you were shooting as well. I'd also put, you know, my all-time top 3. Double HP Spiggy Kulichana. Like,
Thank you.
All time for me. Yeah.
And thank you for showing me love from the beginning. I think from when we DM'd, I think it was 2 years ago or something. You even reminded me, Ray, yo, because me back in the day, before I got into this music thing, I think you said something like that, nah?
Yeah.
I don't even know. I don't even remember what suburb it was, but I think Rankuwa or something.
Yeah, we actually, yeah, that was outside Major League's studio. We had a long, 1 hour conversation.
Yeah.
I was just asking because you
day.
stopped and asked, "Majita later," you know, just like a hustler. You're probably wondering, and then, you know, I just told you I make music. I think I asked you you know, how do you break in? You know, those questions.
Those types of
But
questions.
You really gave me the time of day. So shout out for that. I think those type of conversations make me want to have the conversations with other kids, because it's like, yo, that was so impactful for me. For you to stop during your midnight jog and explain to us, you know, music, so, yo, thank you, actually.
I love you, my brother, and I'm very proud of you. What you've just started, it's only the beginning. Blind.
Thank you.
What you think the people that you look up to have done it, or what you think they had taken it, it's nowhere near to where you are even taking it, because every generation has to be better than the generation before. This thing repeats a relay. So for now, I want us to hold it here so that at least we open up a space for a part 2. Let's give you another, let's say a year or so, or a couple of months to go achieve more success. And let's sit down maybe towards the end of this year before the year closes.
I got you. Naga pela thing. Hustlers kona ke mon naga mo hae gam. Sanzele mbele couch upi.
Sure. Thank you for Zogala.
Thank you so much.
Before you leave, I'm going to ask you to look at this camera and speak to your superstar self. So now over there, I know you're already a global superstar, but over there, you're already feeling Inbo Madison Square Garden, you're already feeling Inbo O2 Arena. The level at which you thought both Davido and those guys were in as they inspired you, you never even thought that you'd even be bigger than that. What would you like to say to that guy? On the other side, you'll be watching this, I don't know, it's 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years from now, I don't know. What would you like to say to that superstar folk, international folk over there?
What I'd like to say to the superstar international folka earning 10 million USD.
Yeah.
Oscar Itebala, you know, the most important thing, Oscar Itebala, Salabala we tomating the dang, Salabala Mudimu, and keep going. I want more man, billionaire weight and jaga. Choo!
Thank you. What keeps you so humble, bro?
I don't know. I think the way I was raised, straight go Pitur, you know, so I don't think there's any, you know, anything under that. So for me, it's like I've learned to appreciate what we have, and everything else is just kidilo, you know, kidilo talfat.
Yeah.
We only had love, so I'm obsessed with love.
I get you.
I get into a room and I can suss out who doesn't like me, or, you know, I'm that type of person.
You can feel the energy, no?
Yeah, I'm an energy type of person, so I guess that's what it is. And we don't know birthday, so it's just love. So that's all. Love and mazenge. So yeah, actually, funny enough, like a crazy story. I went to perform at the Davi this past weekend, and I was telling, you know, one of the ladies there that there was a time on my birthday, no one came. So romantically invited. Obviously, it's like, hey, Rankuwa, where now? So no one came, and then my dad had a plan and Gisa Stadium. That was my first stadium experience, Kilo Levela Chiefs. It was just crazy. My second stadium experience is me going to perform. That was just crazy. Yeah.
Guys, it's possible, man. Thank you so much. You're such a dope lyricist. Before you go, we always ask our hustlers about what do they read. Some of the dopest lyricists read. Some of them, they don't read, but it's just the life that they live, because they're poets in their own right, and they're just sharing their story, and that's how good they are. Yeah. I'm intrigued into, do you read?
I used to be an avid reader. I did English, you know, advanced English. But right now I'm more on the life books, you know,
Nice.
48 Laws of Power, Art of War. You know, I'm more on, you know, more control books. And I think I watch movies more now.
Nice.
Because I'm more into visual. If you see the music videos I've dropped, you can see it's movies that lead into each other, you know, from Stepa to Tabela Hape to Tela Tenyane. That's a 3-part series. We're extending it soon. So I'm more obsessed with movies and how to tell stories through that. But if I'm reading, and anyone out there who wants to stay, you know, motivated and centered in terms of this is war, this life anyway. I'd suggest 48 Laws of Power, or even adding 50 Cent to the 50th Law of Power as well. That's a nice book. Art of War. That's a book that you can keep in your bag and every day go in our check, you know.
Yeah, and by the way, congratulations for getting that degree.
Thank you.
Most already musician are at school, remember? So thank you for
It
school.
was tough, but you know, we had to do it.
You did
Thank
put in the work.
Yeah.
Quickly, lastly, 5 collaborations that are still about to happen.
That are yet to happen.
Yeah, from you. It doesn't matter whether you're not sure, you have not spoken to those people, but you're like, before I die, these ones will happen.
Before I die, definitely Drake.
Drake?
Yeah.
Give me 4 more. Including Africa, including the world. So Drake?
Skilly Bang. I like
Skilly Bang?
Skilly Bang. Check out Skilly Bang. Thames.
Thames? Dope,
I
she's
like
dope.
Thames. I like Thames.
I didn't know that she studied here, Mojo's Momo Nash.
Yeah, I heard that as well. Big shout out to Big Thames. Ashake as well. I like
Ashake?
Ashake's sound. I have to say, you know, just personally, I wanna have a song with Java that's piano.
Nice.
I don't know if that's, you know, Mahrut will allow it, but like
He'll make it happen. No, he'll make it happen.
you know, I've been trying to convince him, but like personally, like for me, I feel like, you know, if I can get him in that bag, I think, yeah, man. Like we were thinking, of
2 favorite South African musicians.
all time.
Let me not say of all. Let me
me,
say 3.
Yeah, WHP, Spigiri, Kulicha.
Oh, you've already said it.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I can change it since Kale.
Maruita told me to change it.
I can change it.
Kapelo tsaka di lendile ka frustana my bra.
Again.
Ladies and gents, Presidente Estrada. Love you, bro. Appreciate you.